Hello and welcome to another episode of Anfield Watch. Today, we're going to be talking about the main topic around Liverpool, of course, and that is Alexander Isak. Will he join Liverpool? Will he not? Well, we're going to find out. And to do that, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Maxi, a Swedish sports journalist. So Maxi, welcome to the show. You've been on before. We talked about Isak before. That was a few months ago. But what's your take now? What is the current situation and how likely is he to join Liverpool come the end of the summer?
First and foremost, thank you. Great to be back. Since last time we spoke, it feels, I don't know. My feeling is that it's a matter of time. Like Newcastle, it feels like they've accepted that he wants to leave, and if they want to maximize what they can get for him, it's this summer. They have to sell him. Liverpool obviously want to sign him despite signing Hugo Ekitike. I feel like it's more a matter of time now than if.
Yeah, it does feel like that. It feels like he's pretty much made up his mind that he wants to leave Newcastle, and if he wants to leave Newcastle, the only club he wants to go to is Liverpool. Now, as a Swedish Liverpool fan, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it feels kind of surreal. When I grew up, in Sweden we always talked about Glenn Hysén. He played for Liverpool in the 80s and in the beginning of the 90s as well, I think. But during my lifetime, we never had a Swedish player, at least in the senior squad. We've had some in the academy, like Astrid Ajdarevic and Alexander Kakanitlic, but they never made it to the senior squad. So it would be a cool feeling to see a Swedish player play for Liverpool.
Alexander Kakanitlic, what a throwback that is. I'm sure if you followed the academy back in the day, he was a great player, and I think he went on to have quite a decent career in the end. I think he played for Fulham and maybe in the MLS as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he made quite a few caps for the national team as well. So Astrid Ajdarevic ultimately chose to represent Albania, so he never made it to the Swedish national team, but he plays in Sweden and he lives in Sweden, and I've actually worked with him. He's an expert at the TV channel I work at.
Well, that's pretty cool. Back to Isak though. Why do you think it is Liverpool that appeals to him the most out of all the other clubs? I mean, obviously as Liverpool fans, we kind of know, but I'm just interested to sort of take your take as a Swedish football journalist rather than a Liverpool fan. Why is it that Liverpool is the club that Isak wants to join the most?
I think that it's mainly been between Arsenal and Liverpool, because Arsenal, it was one of the worst kept secrets in the world of football that they needed a number 9, and I think it would appeal to pretty much any striker to be that number 9. Now they chose to go with another Swedish striker, with Gyökeres. But I ultimately I think it's mainly the last season what Liverpool has shown, what they're capable of, and when Liverpool showed interest so early as well, I think that also is some sign of intent, and that appeals to him as well. Alexander Isak has always strived to take further steps in his career, and he's very serious about that. Like when he left Borussia Dortmund, he could have chosen bigger clubs, but ultimately he chose Real Sociedad just to kind of strengthen his chances at going to a bigger club after that. So yeah, I think that he's always been very aware of where he wants to go in his career, and right now Liverpool is, I want to say, the best club in the world after what we achieved last season. So yeah, I think that's. I don't think that clubs like, say, Chelsea or Manchester United, mainly Manchester United, appeal, as he wants to go somewhere where he has concrete chances of winning titles. Like, I think he has 2 titles in his career. It's the Copa del Rey in Spain, and the EFL Carabao Cup this season. So I think he wants to win titles in his career now, and that's ultimately why he wants to go to Liverpool.
Now, as a Swedish journalist, you've covered his career for a long time. Do you remember the first time Liverpool's name was mentioned in the conversations around Alexander Isak? Because he's been linked with a lot of big clubs, and he's been around, it feels like, for a very long time. So do you remember when Liverpool were first linked with him?
I have a vague memory that it actually was when he was leaving Sweden for the first time. I think Liverpool was one of the clubs mentioned back then as well. As of now, I think, as well as me, it was this year, I think, early this year. But I'm pretty sure that Liverpool were mentioned when he left Sweden at 16 for the first time as well.
Yeah, and I think I read in, I think it was Ian Graham's book, the former data guy who worked at Liverpool, he spoke about the fact that in 2022, when Liverpool had a decision to make which striker they wanted to sign, the data department actually pushed Jurgen Klopp to sign Alexander Isak. Obviously, they opted for Darwin Núñez instead. Isak went to Newcastle, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
But obviously, it feels like, based on what you said, that Liverpool's interest is quite long-standing. This isn't just something that started 6 months ago. It feels like it's been going on for a long time. I mean, when he broke through in Sweden, it was in like 2017 or 2016, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
if Liverpool were indeed interested in him, then that's almost 10 years in the making now.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something that represents at least the Michael Edwards era well at Liverpool. That Liverpool, they follow players for a long time, and when the opportunity arises, they go for it, go for that player. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Liverpool has indeed followed him that long, or at least since his Real Sociedad days, when he started to make a name for himself in Spain and maybe in Europe as well.
I'm interested to know, what's the Swedish media saying about all of this? Because it is a very intriguing situation in the sense that he's supposedly has this injury which has ruled him out of going to Newcastle's tour to Asia. I think they're in Singapore and South Korea. Obviously, he's missed that tour, but at the same time, there are reports in the media that he's in Spain training and preparing sort of for the season rather than being in Newcastle. I think there were some reports said that he went back to Sweden and then he went to Spain. So what is the Swedish media making of all of this?
Yeah, so I think that it's a very big topic in Sweden. We kind of had a big focus on Victor Gyökeres to Arsenal, and now when that's done, it's all on Alexander Isak to Liverpool now. There haven't been many Swedish sources speaking about his future. What we consume here has, at least so far, been what international media is reporting. But that it's a huge interest in what's going to happen and everything that's developing. And I think that aside from the Arsenal and Manchester United supporters in Sweden, I think that like the general consensus is that everyone wants to see Alexander Isak at a big club. where he can win titles and develop further for the national team and stuff like that. So, but it's been quite quiet in the Swedish media as far as Swedish sources go. But it should also be mentioned that it was the same case for Victor Gyökeres. So it's not unusual.
I wanted to ask you about Isak's agent as well, because there's a lot of talk about him on social media, and you followed his career for a long time. So I'm interested to know, what is his agent like, and do you think he could play a key role in sort of forcing Newcastle's hands to agree a deal with Liverpool and to make sure that his client does get that move? How important do you think he is in all of these negotiations and tactics and everything that's going on at the moment?
Yeah, so Alexander Isak has had the same agent pretty much since he left Sweden. It's a Serbian agent named Vlado Lemic. He works for an agency called Universal. Vlado Lemic has been, like, as far as media reports go, criticized because of how he's gone about his business. I think it's Feyenoord or PSV in the Netherlands who's completely broken or severed contacts with him because of how he operated. But my like perception of him is like he's going to do whatever it takes for his client to get what he wants. And it might not be like the conventional way. He might go about it as he wishes, so to speak. So yeah, it's from my understanding, it's kind of a controversial character, mainly in Europe. Here in Sweden, he doesn't have that many clients here in Sweden, so we don't hear that much of him. But from what I've read in the international media, he's not on great terms with some clubs out there on the continent.
Now, if you're a betting man and you had to sort of say whether Alexander Isak ends up at Liverpool or not, what would you be saying right now? How likely do you think that this transfer actually gets done and completed? Because I think right now there's some sort of apathy. There is a level of apathy among the Liverpool fan base in terms of, it looks like Benjamin Sesko might favour a move to Manchester United as we are speaking. So it looks like Newcastle are going to miss out on him, and that could potentially impact their decision to sell Isak. But in your opinion, how likely is this still to happen? Is he going to be a Liverpool player by the end of the summer?
I do believe so. I think from what I've been able to read and hear, it feels like Alexander Isak, as far as the relationship between Alexander Isak and Newcastle, it's at least reaching a point of no return. I think it says quite a lot that he's not even training at the Newcastle facilities. I don't see why he wouldn't do that unless something's off. Even though he's not in Asia for the preseason tour, he could still train at the Newcastle facilities to rehabilitate an injury, but he's not. And I think that's quite telling. As far as a percentage go, I would say maybe 60-70%. That's just my gut feeling. But yeah, I think it's getting more and more advanced each day. Now it's more of a... I have a feeling that it quite depends right now on what kind of replacement Newcastle is able to find. That's why it was quite, from my perspective, sad news yesterday when the news broke about Benjamin Sesko to Manchester United. Hopefully Newcastle can get a deal done there, and Alexander Isak is able to get a move to Liverpool. But yeah, right now, I think it's just before we hopped on here, there was a report from the Liverpool Echo that Newcastle is getting frustrated with Liverpool for not putting in an official bid. But yeah, that's the latest I've read.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting saga, and I feel like it's one that is probably going to drag on for a while. But let's just pretend this is going to get done. This is going to happen. What would a Liverpool team look like with Alexander Isak in the side, with Florian Wirtz in the team, Mohamed Salah in the team, Cody Gakpo, maybe someone like Rio Engamoa also in the team, and behind them a midfield of Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, or Dominic Szoboszlai. How is that going to look like? And before I even... the fullbacks, Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, they are players who are known to create chances for the attackers and put in crosses, something that Alexander Isak thrives off of. So how is this going to look like, and how frightening are Liverpool going to be?
Yeah, this is something I thought about a lot in the last couple of days. What kind of threw me with this is the signing of Hugo Ekitike, because at least going into the summer, I thought it would be either or. Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. Now it might be both. I think that my conclusion is that I think that at least the front four, if Liverpool continue to play the same formation, is going to be a lot more fluid. I think Mohamed Salah still is going to be on the right, but both Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike can play on the left. Alexander Isak, in the national team, he's played at number 10 or as a secondary striker, and has done a great job at that, like being a number 2 behind Victor Gyökeres, who's been like the spearhead. So I think what I've kind of reached conclusion is that I think we're going to see a more fluid attack next season. But as far as how dangerous Liverpool can be, I think I can't remember the last time I saw a Liverpool team with these many options. Like, of course, we had Salah, Roberto Firmino, and Sadio Mane, but like the players behind that weren't as good as the players behind the starting players right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and I think it's going to be really, really exciting to watch Liverpool next season if this deal does get done, and fingers crossed it does. But for now, Maxi, thank you very much for joining me and giving your insight to us. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter, or X as it's called nowadays, at Maxi Angelo, MAAXI Angelo.
Yeah, I will have the link to Maxi's Twitter profile in the description below, so make sure to check him out, because he's a Liverpool fan and he does tweet some really interesting and insightful stuff as well, so I thoroughly recommend giving him a follow. But for now, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.